Hello everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. My name is Alex. I'm here with Nina outside Stamford Bridge. Just lost 1-0 against Aston Villa. Not great.
No, not great. And to be fair, it just comes down to the same thing, finishing our chances. It just seems that goal scoring turns more and more impossible every single game. When's the last time we scored? It was against Wimbledon, wasn't it? Against Wimbledon, 2 goals. I mean, it was a game that we shouldn't have even struggled with that much. And then before that, it was Luton. And no disrespect, but really, everyone is right. Luton is the only Premier League side that we have actually managed to beat. So it's worrying, really. What quality are we bringing to the Premier League? Where are we? We're sat 14th now, aren't we? And we could have easily been 1-0 up, 2-0 up in that first half. And again, it just comes down to the simple thing of not being able to score. Why? You're one-on-one with the keeper and you're literally dribbling it straight into him. And here I'm talking Sterling, Jackson, have a shot. You've got a massive goal there. Pick your corner. It's going straight into the keeper time and time again. And it's costly. And it's players like Sterling where we expect so much more from him. I get if we have the excuse of, it's a young player, they're not used to it. It's Sterling. Come on, mate, you've got to be doing better. You saw Ollie Watkins score from that angle there. When we have it at that angle, it's going miles away from the goal. And it's just so frustrating. The only goals we can score are offside ones. That is literally the reality there. And it's frustrating because flashback to last weekend, 0-0 against Bournemouth, at least 3-4 clubs were 3-1 up that weekend. You see teams like Liverpool come back with 2 goals after being 70 minutes, 1 man down, and here we are losing. Aston Villa did not look like they played in Europe 2 days ago. It looked like we did, and we were perhaps the tired team. We had a week off and we still couldn't come and produce anything on the pitch. And really, I am getting frustrated because I'm all for giving the time, but we need to see results on the way. It's a result-based business and we're not getting any results. It's frustrating to say, give time, this is the project, this is what is happening, when you're seeing that. We can't even have the basics of scoring a goal.
But if a so-class elite manager or top manager like Pochettino can't do anything with this squad, who can?
I don't know, and honestly it's too early to point a finger at Pochettino. I don't agree with some of the decisions he made today. I mean, it all kind of comes down to the lineup as well. You've got 3 left backs on the bench and you're starting Colwill. I don't know what kind of experiments you're playing at, but fair enough if it proves to produce on the pitch, but it doesn't. And like I said, yes, okay, it's not your job as a manager to get your players on the pitch if they can't score. Like, what can you do about it? He does try and he switches it up. He has listened to us when we have wanted him to, but at the end of the day, it's just not being able to put a simple chance away. And we over dribble it. We try and literally dribble it into the net, and it's like we've got enough quality in that team on that pitch to be able to put a chance away. And then it's all about the time ticking before Aston Villa put a chance away. And yes, you can say that Robert Sanchez literally saved us again. We are talking about a 3-4-0 potentially loss there if it wasn't for his saves, because they were absolutely extraordinary, so props to him. I even saw him look at his team and go, come on guys, come on. It's like last season when you're trying to get your players to do something. Thiago Silva literally got up after being injured and was still navigating the players to stand here and there to protect, and it's like, what do we do? So it is frustrating. It's like, I don't understand. By the way, I don't know if it was a red card or not. I didn't see that.
It didn't look like a red card at all. It looked like a horrific decision. And that's why there were so many boos in the stadium, because actually they never used to do this, but now they show on the screen the decision, and obviously you can agree or disagree with it, but it was obvious. It was a terrible decision.
He looked like he was so happy to give that red card though, didn't he? He just couldn't wait, but that's the reality. And then, okay, you've gone 1 man down in the 70th minute, and then you bring on Chilwell. So how are we setting up here? Are we trying to keep a 0-0 draw and take that point away for dear life? What are we trying to do? Because then you take off Mudryk as well, which I also didn't quite understand, because I thought Mudryk was actually creating in the first half.
What do you think his thinking was behind that? Because everyone's complaining about it, but what do you think Poch was trying to do?
Well, I think he was maybe trying to sit back and play defensive then, and just to keep that 1 point, because probably if we've gone 1 man down, then maybe the whole kind of reasoning behind it was keeping a point in that game, even though I think that was a big risk to take anyway, because Aston Villa looked like they were waiting to punish us any time now after that. And it's like you take off Mudryk, and here we are having that conversation. Why did Mudryk need to come off in that game? For Chilwell especially, I just don't actually understand. If we're talking about giving him time to get better, to ease in, these are the games that he has to play. early, to get better, so that when we do come to play those terrifying teams that we will play, that he actually feels a little bit more comfortable in this team. But here you are, you're stripping his confidence by doing that, and it just doesn't really make sense. And then, okay, you're bringing on Cole Palmer, fair enough, was happy to see Cole Palmer. He did try and switch things up a little bit on the pitch, but then it's like you bring on, after you go 1-0 down, you then bring on a striker, Breuer. So this is the substitution kind of organisation and structure which I'm not really understanding. You bring on the striker after we've gone 1-0 down. So then is your intent now to get a draw again and to try and find that draw? Why couldn't it have been the other way around? Why couldn't we have been trying to find that goal even with one man down? See, that is the decision I didn't quite understand. And then again, it was just hopeless in front of goal. Nobody would have scored it. And I was a little bit disappointed with Chile as well. I think, Ollie Watkins scored from that weird angle on the right. Chilwell we've seen him put those chances away from that left side, just chip the keeper. It's just always in the keeper, and I just don't understand why. It's like we freeze in front of goal and we look hopeless.
We did try and chip it with Palmer, to be fair. I mean, we had good chances. It's the same as last week with Bournemouth. I think we could have easily scored 3 or 4 ourselves, but it's the same old story.
It is the same old story, Alex, and I don't quite understand where we go from here, because if we can't score goals, what system are we building? The whole point of Pochettino coming in was to build a system, but we've reverted back to the basics. We have to learn to score a goal first to implement any sort of system. How do we look threatening? We don't look threatening upside. And obviously you saw how aggressive Villa came into this game, because they probably thought, doesn't matter if we played 2 days ago, we can still have a good go at this Chelsea side, and they did. And again, we did set ourselves up. I said this, if we get a goal early on at home, 1-0 in the first half, looking at a different game, that gives you confidence, then you can control the game, potentially look for another, but no. And really, that's the reality. And then if we do go 1-0 down at home, it's never an equaliser, let alone a comeback. Yet we see teams do it time and time again. Looking at the results today, Alex, yeah, don't really know what else to say.
First time I've seen you speechless in a long time.
Yeah, it's just I'm such an advocate. I was shamelessly Potter in last season until the very end, so it's like I'm all for the time and to give time, but it's so frustrating coming and not being able to see us score a goal, and we're here every single week, Alex. And when do we start scoring the goals? Against Arsenal, Tottenham, Brighton, Brentford, Man United, City? Is that when we start scoring? Is that when we get our shooting boots on?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting as well, because obviously in the previous fan cam with Charlie, Egbali walked past. I asked him what he thought about the game. He didn't want to know, didn't want to have pictures or anything like that, which is unusual, because to be fair, usually they're quite good, but I can understand he's in a bad mood. What's he think? I mean, is he, because he was the advocate to get rid of Potter. It was Bowley that wanted to keep him. So is Egbali now thinking, right, we need to have a look elsewhere? I mean, because I get the sense that these owners are almost emotional with their business decisions. I mean, it's not by one player, it's by 10 players. It's not by a smart signing for 30 million or 40 million like Maddison. You spend 100 million on Caicedo, Mudryk, all these players. So, how do they approach this situation?
I actually don't know, and by the fact that he blanked you there, it seems that maybe he doesn't have the clue either. And for them it was, let's put all this money on the table. We were very impressed with the transfer window there. We can't crawl away and say that we weren't impressed. We were very impressed with how they went in the transfer window, cleared out players that we've been trying to clear out for 2-3 years, and they just did it like that off the bat, and we got money off them as well. And then we went to invest it, and we did bring in quality. Nobody's saying otherwise. We brought in players, but I kept saying it, we brought potential. We didn't bring in well-established players, strikers, defenders. No, it was always about the potential. That is why I was lenient, and I didn't think that things would kick-start off from the start of the season, but it's no excuse. You've got enough quality in that team on that pitch to be able to put you a goal away. Really, that's what it's coming down to. Then we can go on and say, let's give time for this to become a consistent thing. Once we do start seeing a few goals here and there, maybe a draw, a win here and there, there might be some inconsistency on the way, but that it's heading in the right direction. But right now, it's so hard to say to a fan, be patient, there's a process here, this and this and that, when this is what you get on the pitch.
I mean, it's the only thing you can say, unless you're just saying sack the manager, pretty much, isn't it?
No, we can't do that. We absolutely can't do that. And, I'm never going to defend the Poch out hashtag that's circling around on Twitter right now. We really can't do that. And realistically, let me ask you guys, if anyone is Pochettino out right now, who comes in? who saves us? Like, what changes? Nothing. It really doesn't change anything. If anything, it hinders everything, because Pochettino has spent the last couple of months trying to get to know these players on a personal level, getting to know staff and things. It's not all about just switching the manager. They've got to come in and get to know the club, the players, the staff, everything, the medical team and thing. It's not just something that, you put in there and then that's it. Yeah, it's a shame, because we have seen other teams like Tottenham have that fresh manager bounce, and we sit there and we're like, why can't we have that as well? But the reality is we've just gone through a lot more change than other clubs have. It doesn't come down to just the players. We literally got a new team as well. We've got a new backroom staff. We've got so much change at once. Injured players, first teamers as well. Everyone keeps kind of coming back in different times, and you're getting to know this player, and then you never play with them for another 7 months because they're out with an ACL. Then they come back, and then you're learning their name again, learning what their patterns are on the pitch, and it's disjointed. And now here we are. Malo Gusto is suspended, so here we are. Who's playing right back next game, by the way? Disasi, and then we'll have Colwell at left back as well. And then, my goodness, there you go, £1 billion in that defence. But you know what? It's you can't change that. Suspensions and things like that, you've got to still work with what you've got. And I want to believe that we still have, regardless, enough quality to be able to put out something on the pitch next game as well. No, regardless, but it's just a shame, because Malo Gusto has been building momentum. I thought he looked quite decent in that game as well, up until he got sent off. He was trying to put those through balls. He was, clearing and kind of getting involved there defensively. And now that momentum is cut short. That's it. We don't know if he's going to keep up that form. Yes, he's not out for ages, but it's this is the momentum that keeps breaking in Chelsea. Nothing is consistent for longer than a week. Nothing. And how can you get results, and how can you get performances, and how can you move up from 14th place?
We'll find out, Nina.